Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Mikhail Peters. Yeah, I haven't been super in the mood to keep up with my channel, and I feel like I've been being a negative Nelly, as they call it, so I was thinking to take a break, but I want to talk a little bit more about a cultural difference thing today because I thought it would be an interesting thing to do a YouTube video on. Also, before I get into that, I'm going to take a short interlude to talk about how annoying being in the US is sometimes, just because of the fact that everything is advertised at you. Not only do I get lots of spam calls, which, whatever, that's always been the case, now I'm getting spam text messages and people advertising cars to me, and I don't know if that's because my dad recently got a new car. I think it might be, but then I don't know why my number is associated with it and not his, but I also get a lot of emails about, like, oh, your home is worth this much money, and I'm like, it's not my home. It's just where I live. So a home is not always where you live. That's kind of depressing, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, so I'm still pretty depressed about Diesel dying. It's like really hard to keep it together, not gonna lie, because like I just do my normal day activities and then I'm like, where is he? He's not here. And then I'm like, and I like need another dog, but then I don't know how long I'm supposed to wait. According to Google, you can wait like however long you want, but you should give yourself, I think it was like a couple months at least. Okay. All right. So today I want to talk about shopping for like purchasing homes / apartments / condos / whatever you want to call them in Finland versus the US, because I now have the experience in both places. And one of the things I've always said about Finland, because I've tried, okay, so I'm going to start this with a story. One time I had one Finnish friend who came to the US and I volunteered to be his chauffeur, as I'm going to call it. Like, I just kind of like I picked him up from the airport and like he mostly did his own thing. Thank goodness, because I probably would have killed him otherwise. No, we're basically like friends who feel more like siblings, because it's just like he annoys me a lot. But anyway, he did his thing, went to New York, went to DC, all this fun stuff. And like we spent some time together, but there was one particular instance where we went out with a couple like local people. That's a big deal for me because I don't go out. And I remember like telling my one friend, like the one BFF at the time, like I was like, no, people in Finland think I'm like fun. And then she's like, what? And then she asked this guy who's this Finnish friend who's visiting, and then he's like, yeah, no, like actually like Mikaela is fun. And then she's like, what? Like, no, she's not. I'm like, yeah, I'm not fun here. Anyway, whatever. I think Finland's just a funner place to be. I mean, obviously. No, that is like really obvious to me. Maybe not to everybody else. Why do I think that? I don't know. They're just out there chilling. They're not stressed out. That's why I'm like chronically stressed out here. All right, whatever. So, this whole thing was like, this friend moved out at 15. Okay, so if you're Finnish people watching this is not like an uncommon thing you've never heard of. Like the whole moving out at 15 because you're going to go to high school and your parents live too much in the middle of nowhere for you to go to high school properly. So therefore, this is your only option. And then like you're already like living on your own at 15 and then you just never go back to living with your parents. And in the US that's like crazy, not only because all my 30-year-old friends still live with their parents, not all of them, but some of them here in New Jersey, but like brain fart, hold on. It's like technically you're not an adult until you're 18 and you wouldn't move out until you're 18, so like yes, there's that. But like most people are not even going to move out at 18 necessarily. They usually just get like shuffled to a college, like a university first. And then after that, if they're lucky, they can like get a job and launch somewhere else. But otherwise they might be at home saving some money for a bit until they like get another opportunity. I think it depends because that success gap is getting pretty large. I actually listened to a TED Talk today on that about how parents really do put a lot of pressure on their kids to be like perfect and like go to the right school and get the right job and all this. But then it's like success and happiness and actually like making more money doesn't have anything to do with that pressure. It has more to do with like the emotional intelligence skills you teach your kid. And I'm like, no, like that makes sense because every YouTube video I've watched is like the super wealthy people have better emotional intelligence. My case is hopeless. Oh, well. Well, no, but you can train it too. I'm just saying as it stands right now, not working for me. Okay, so, yes, buying a house. Okay, but I remember what I started explaining during this. Well, first off, this friend is like, I moved out at 15. Like, you weirdos are all still living at home when you're in your late 20s. And I'm like, dude, our housing market is not the same as yours. And like, we don't just have like a crap ton of random studio apartments all over the place. It's either like you're living in a single family house. When you are no longer a single family, you are a single person. So where are you going to stick a single family person from a single family house? And like, unless you stick 5 of them together, but like, people are kind of picky. I don't know. So he was not really like getting that. And then I started explaining, this is why I like Finland so much, because everybody has a really high standard of living. And what I mean by that is like, all the buildings, I mean, some of them get a little bit old, especially like if you're more like in the Helsinki-Vantaa capital region, like, yeah, because, that stuff has been there longer, I guess, and it's less like newly developed, depends on the place, but like, the buildings are all in great condition. Like, the apartments are kept immaculately. Like, and it is just like literally anywhere you live, it is going to be like a pretty good living condition. Probably unless you were in like some random single family house in the middle of the woods that like got abandoned, but I don't know how you would end up there anyway. You probably wouldn't, because you'd need a car and that's expensive, and you'd probably stay in a city. Anyway, yeah. So I digress with that. But that's one thing with Finland. So like, okay. I thought one realtor put it really nicely, because, yeah, aside from, like, working, I feel like the only thing I've been doing is, like, touring houses, because my brother's also looking, so sometimes I'll just, like, sneak on his tours, too, and he's looking in places I don't want to live, so it's whatever. But, like, it just for curiosity to see, like, what's out there, what's it going for, like, getting to know the market. It's market research with a market I'm very interested in. And so looking at apartments in Finland doesn't really feel that misleading. Yeah, so what I was trying to say is, this one realtor they were with the one day, and I appreciate this a lot because realtors are not technically supposed to do this, but she's like, you guys, it was like my brother and his girlfriend, like, cannot live here because it's dangerous and they have cops in here all the time, and like, you guys are young and it's like, you could start a family, whatever, like, I'm not letting you buy this house. And I was like, wow, I didn't think there was anywhere in New Jersey that was like that hood, so I was really like surprised. But she says, you know what they did here? They polished a turd. And I was like, I love that. Like, it's like a crappy thing and they just made it look nice. And it's like, it's still a crappy thing, it just looks nice. So yeah, and apparently it's pretty common, like these Jewish companies. Apparently, fun fact, the Jewish population in New Jersey, I think outside of probably New York, but a lot of the Jews are coming to New Jersey now, is the largest Jewish population outside of Israel itself. It's crazy. So, yeah. They're very into the house flipping, I guess, in this area. But, yeah, like, and I kind of forget that in other areas there just, like, aren't as many Jews because they, like, they had a long saga of living in different places, let's say. I mean, I'm also Jewish, just, like, not, like, religiously. Yeah. Which, apparently you have to be careful sometimes when you're putting a couple Jews together, and yeah, this is like a whole thing, like genetic testing for like if you're both Jews or something. I don't know that much about it, but it is a thing. All right, whatever, especially if you're like an Ashkenazi Jew, which I am. So I already like have a YouTube video on my ethnicity and it's in there, so it's like not a surprise, although it's in Russian, I think, but whatever. All right, so what I'm trying to get at is that all of the houses actually in Finland, all the apartments actually look like the pictures, from my knowledge. I don't really know because I only toured one of them because I looked at the pictures and I was like, this is it. And then I went and looked at it and I was like, this is it. And it's like, it's so good when you just know the feeling that this is the thing. This is the one, okay? Like, it's great having that feeling. And yeah, like, it's like, honestly, I'm not sure I've ever had a feeling like that about anything in my life. Like, just knowing it was the one. No, not really. I mean, sometimes the jobs, but then you start working in them and then you're like, eh. Although I really do like my job right now, but I'm also like at this point where I'm like, I feel like my learning has plateaued a little bit, and then, yeah, maybe that's a problem. All right, whatever. So I went and I toured this house and I was like, this apartment, and I'm like, it looks exactly like the pictures. And then they're like, yeah, like we try to do that. And I'm like, cool. And yeah, it was just like, it was staged nicely, which, people are always kind of stupid and go for that kind of staging thing. But whatever. I mostly look at, like, I'm not a handyman, I'm not a handy woman, whatever. How much of this is going to be like something that I have to like deal with later or pay somebody else to deal with later? So The problem with the US is they like to polish a lot of turds because everything is like big business, turn it over, faster, more productivity, and blah, 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 stupid, annoying productivity grind set thing. It's how it is here. And it's almost like people are a little bit like, it's like high pressure sales and more dishonest. Whereas I feel like in Finland, like I actually got like really kind of like angry at my family because they're like, how do you know you're not being gypped? And I was like, I trust these people and you don't know what it's like because you haven't lived in Finland. And really, it's like, I will tell you that. It's like in Finland, it's really like nobody is trying to screw you over. Like there's no advantage to screwing anybody over because like everybody has what they need, like, and they have a high standard of living. Like they're not like out there like fighting to survive. It's like not the same as in the US. It's just totally different. So it's a different mentality. So the issue with starting looking like it's like it's unbelievable to me. Granted, it's a different market. Granted, I bought in a not very desirable place. Granted, like the other thing is like I knew the market. Like I knew that where I was buying, like I would always be able to like have a roommate kind of situation, so it would like offset a lot of costs. Like I just like I was very aware of like what I was getting myself into, but just because of knowing like the demand for that market in New Jersey, like I don't know because I just don't know that market as well. I know like there's one university nearby and it's like I don't know if I also want to keep renting out to university students forever or like if that's necessarily my goal. I don't know, whatever. But like in Finland, it's just like everything worked. And it was just like, it was just so easy. Like it's like you deal with one realtor and it's like, here's the place. And then you do the paperwork and then they disclose everything and you're like aware of the costs and the HOAs or what are they called? And I don't know what the HOAs are called in Finnish. You can let me know because I forget. And I might not remember the word because it's probably like blah, 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 blah. It's got like 5 syllables. But yeah, so those fees that you pay monthly, like they're supposed to go up, for instance, in the building I'm in this year at some point because they're planning to redo the pipes. So they're supposed to go up by like another $70. Whatever happens. Okay, but at least I'm like aware of that. So that's cool. Like it's like full disclosure. Like there's no pressure for like if you like it, if you don't like it. I was just like, I like it, I want this one. Because at the end of the day, something that expensive, people are not going to buy if they don't like it. That's why like kind of, I hate to be like high pressure cars sales and home sales. It's kind of stupid because at the end of the day, I'm not going to buy something if I don't want it. Okay, so this turd thing, it's like, I remember, so this is the other thing they do, is they do this weird, like, it's not CGI, what the heck is it called? Just like photoshopping, like making the grass look greener and the sky look bluer and all this like other stupid stuff in the pictures, like just to make you want to buy the house. And I'm like, how is this making me like want to buy the house? Like if I go view the house, okay, like that stuff, it looks nice, but also like if the house I'm living in has nothing to do with the color of the sky or the color of the grass. I mean, that would have to do with how much I'm watering it. I don't know. But it's not even just that. It's like, I don't know if they like touch up these photos, but they'll look so good. And then you go and you see the place and you're like, this needs a lot of work. And you're like, what the heck? This flipper came in here and it was like, I'm gonna, like make this night, polish the turd to sell the turd. But sometimes they don't even do enough of a good job cleaning and polishing the turd. And you're like, I don't want this to become my issue to clean and polish. I already have to deal with paying for this thing and moving and all this. So it's just like, it's really just like a crapshoot here. And it's like so frustrating. It's like, it's just another reason why Finland is better, in my opinion. And I'm like, what am I still doing here? And I say it all the time. I ask myself that a lot of days. It sucks I like my job. Maybe I should focus on not liking my job. Okay, so that happened to me the first place I went to look at. I was like, oh, I love this. I looked at the pictures. I was like, yes, yes, yes. And this is like so stupid. And this is the number one thing I care about. When I look outside the window, is there a tree I can look at for when I'm like in the middle of working and then I need like a nature break? Like right here where I'm sitting, I have lots of trees I can look at. That's why I don't really want to leave here. But now Diesel's not here and there's no point in being here. Like I got to this point where I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm like done. Like there's not like my sister or whatever. She's on YouTube all the time. It's like I talk to her sometimes, whatever. It's like there's no point in me being here. Literally no point. So aside from my family's here, but I mean like in this house in particular, I just don't care anymore. I'm just like, I'm done. And I'll go get my own dog and have my own life and be happier. It's cool. Whatever. So trying to be positive about that, but all right, so I look at like, I've looked at a lot of places. All right, a lot of them have been with my brother. But the first place I looked at, I was like, oh, I really like this. And then I was like, And then there's this other place I really, really liked with the pictures. And then it was like, under attorney review already the day I was supposed to look at it. And I was like, then I went to go look at some other places, but I'm really looking at a 2-bedroom. So then there was one like across the street that's pretty similar, move-in ready, but there were all these things I didn't like. I didn't like the counter. I didn't like the backsplash in the kitchen. That stuff is apparently pretty expensive to replace. And obviously I can't do it myself because I don't know how to. And then the dumbest part is I didn't like the placement of the windows. And I didn't like the view outside the windows. And it is so stupid, but that is what I cared about. Like the first place that like did not look like the pictures, the view outside the window was really good. But it was just a little bit too hood for me. Like, and then we went back and looked at it again because there was another unit that was open and it was like smelled like smoke in both of them. And I was like, I can't handle it. Okay, that's the only thing I like better about the US than Finland is that there's no smoke smell. Okay, so basically that didn't work. I'm trying to think of where else I looked. Then I looked at the other one and they were like, I'm trying to think of how many places I've even like actually looked at. So I looked at the 2 that were smoke smelling. I looked at, I guess, like 3 in the area where I didn't get to see the one I really liked. Maybe it was 2 there, so 4. There was a house I really liked, and then it had like some mold issues in the bathroom. And it was probably going to go for more than the listing price. And I was like, I can't do more than the listing price. Like, it's just like it's not an option. And then I went and looked at a few of them the other day. Like, yeah, I mean, I've been like, I'm trying to think how recently, like how long I've been looking at this point. And I've already kind of like fully accepted the fact that if I can't find anything, I'm just going to temporarily move into an apartment probably thing. I was really wanting to go live with my grandparents to save more money for a down payment, but like, I just don't know if I want to relocate my entire life to another state and then relocate my life back to the state that I actually like living in. Sucks. Yeah, so all right. So then yesterday, because this was like my last ditch effort, because I'm at this point where it's like crunch week this week. And if I don't like make a decision about trying to buy something, like I'm going to that apartment. And I know it's like, I was supposed to like, whatever, on the Russian side of this channel, I'm like, I'm definitely doing that. And it's like, that is my definite backup plan. But due to the fact that it is a decision that I feel like I'm being forced to make that I don't actually want to make, I'm doing everything I can prior to that happening to try to like change the trajectory of my life. Because I'm very stubborn and I like to get what I want. And for better or for worse, it's just how I am. And who does this affect besides me and my wallet? My family has to help move me. Then they have to move me twice. I don't know. I mean, no, it's definitely risky. And the thing that's very scary about buying condos is the HOAs can go up. Which, yes, they can go up in Finland too, as I just explained. But maybe I feel like in Finland there's more transparency with what's going on. In the US, HOAs get in trouble a lot of times for like mismanaging their funds, so then they're like, oh, we need more money. It's very annoying. Very, like, I'm getting angry just talking about this stuff, to be honest. All right, so whatever. So I looked at some places. My realtor kept trying to show me 1-bedrooms, and I'm like, I can't do 1-bedroom. I need 2 bedrooms, okay? Like, and honestly, the price difference between them is like not that different. So it's like, and that's part of the like unappeal of moving into this apartment is like it being 1 bedroom and eventually feeling like I need something bigger. So I think 2 bedrooms is a nice place to start. So I went and looked at like 3 places yesterday. I didn't even know I was looking at a 3rd place, but whatever. And that one was nice because it was a corner lot, but it was just kind of like in the progression of places that we looked at, each one got guttier and guttier. And so like the last one, it was just like, I hate carpeting. Like there's all this stupid stuff. Like I feel bad being very picky, but like, it's just like, I don't like carpeting. The view outside the window was weird. And like there was all this weird stuff with, like, I didn't like the washer dryer being in the living room, or not the living room, being in the kitchen too. So like the first one I looked at, they put it upstairs and I liked that better. No, that one was perfect. Like my mom's really good at design and she was like, this contractor is so good. My landlord should use him. Like he has such a good eye. Like his attention to detail is great. And like, no, that like literally like this condo, the only thing wrong with it is that it doesn't have a lot of closet/storage space, which is like what my mom pointed out. I wasn't even necessarily thinking about that. It's got a little backyard to stick my new puppy in. I can't wait. Okay, anyway, so then, it literally only has like 2 closets in the entire place, and that's like really not good. There's not even like a coat closet, so that's kind of a problem. But like the kitchen is immaculate, the floors are immaculate, like it's perfect, like literally perfect, literally so perfect. And then the view outside the window, there's a tree, and then there's another tree, and like in each bedroom. It's great. It's literally great. So I love that. I'm thinking pretty seriously about that. I just want more info on the funds, like in terms of the HOAs, certain things, like if your roof goes awry, like who's responsible for that? Is it you or is it the HOA? Like what does the HOA cover? Like there's all this info that I want prior to like, making an offer. Also, making offers can be kind of stupid because people can outbid you. My brother has already put an offer in on 3 different houses and got rejected for all of them and was going over asking price on 2 of them. Like, what is this nonsense? Like, this is all a game. It's stupid. I was looking on Redfin, and I think it was saying the issue is the demand in New Jersey has risen by 9% in the last year, and the inventory has only risen by 2.5%. Well, that's why we have this. And then the issue is a lot of people who need to move are not that wealthy. So all the houses that are like, 4-bedroom house, like not multifamily, but like a single family, like, the nuclear mom, dad, 2.5 kids kind of thing. Like, I'm not even sure those people, like, exist as much now because there's an issue with there not being as many kids like in the county where I live, supposedly. I don't know if that's true. And then like the people who are looking just like can't afford that. So I'm like, who are these people who can afford those things? So those things sit. But then people are so into their privacy here. It's not like 2 families are going to go in on a house where they could afford it. And then they're trying really hard, like, to get, like, people to be more okay with multi-generational living, which, like, nobody's okay with that. Like, you're going to have to implement a huge cultural shift. And I don't, like, yeah, that's why I can't stay at home past the age of 30, because it's, like, not how Americans do it. If I was Hispanic, this would be a lot easier. But I'm not. Oh, well, it'd be like that sometimes. Okay, so, yeah, because I know they're actually, like, my friend was telling me, because he's Hispanic, like, I was just hanging out with him, and he's like, my friend moved out before she was married, like, this Hispanic friend, and her parents got mad at her because she wasn't married yet, so it wasn't time for her to move out yet. I was like, I kind of get that, because that was my plan, man, but I'm too much in this, like, I just hate everybody phase right now, so it's really not working for me. But anyway, so it'd be like that too sometimes. Really does. Sadly. Okay, but yeah, so this place, I'm thinking about it, but I really need a clear understanding of, like, the HOAs. But apparently the big issue with these, because they've been sitting, quote unquote, a couple of them have been, but those ones are super gutty. Like, I think people don't necessarily want to move into something where they still have a lot of work to do on it. Like, I looked at the second one, and it was quite a bit less money than the other one, but it had been like a bachelor pad, and so it was just like a bunch of stuff. Like, you probably had a party and somebody did something while they were drunk and this part got messed up. Like, for instance, like, I don't know, it looked like the window got like burned by a candle or something, and it's just like, like certain things are chipped, or like the stove was in a weird place and the washer dryer was in a weird place, and then my mom's like, this lighting is stupid, I don't know. Whatever, but like it was just like, it could have been worse, but like the paint job was really bad, and like, the floors in some places probably needed to get redone. It was just like, and then, the counter, and like the dishwasher was gross. It was just like, it was really like a lot. And they're like, just make any offer, we're trying to get rid of it. And I'm like, I don't have like the time, resources, energy, etc., at this point right now to buy a turd I need to polish myself. That costs a lot of money and time and effort, and I have to hire a contractor. And like, what am I supposed to do? Like half move in and then just like YouTube how to like fix my own floor and stuff? I mean, I guess I could, but like, I honestly just don't know if I would feel more inclined to do that, or feel more inclined to work more shifts at the restaurant to pay somebody else to do it for me, because I don't want to. Like in Finland, when I got the apartment, I did have to like pay somebody to like install doors and locks and stuff, because I like rent it out to people, and then like they can have privacy by locking their door. Like, I pretty much did it the same way the student dorm is done, because that's my business model. So like, yeah, but anyway, and then like because people, okay, so this is so annoying too. America started doing this thing recently where they started doing more than one agent. Why is that annoying? Because then you have to pay commission to 2 people. Okay. And people, like I said, are very cutthroat about all this stuff, right? So it's like, like the seller agent was like, oh, yeah, make an offer, we'll accept anything. And then they're trying to like hype it up, and it's like, oh, and this is nice, and this is nice. And it's like, it does not matter how much you tell me about this being nice and that being nice. If I look at this thing and I don't like it, I'm not going to buy it. But then you can't say that, and then it just annoys me. Maybe because of the autism thing, it's just not direct enough, and I can't be like, I don't like it. Like the other day I was talking to my friend, and I was like, sometimes like certain guys like me, and then I feel like they're like too dumb, but I can't tell them that because that's rude. He's like, yeah, you can't say that, that's rude. I was like, I know, but then I just like don't know how to be like, leave me alone sort of thing. And then he's like, just say you're not interested. I'm like, right. So like sometimes, I get it, I can be a little bit tactless, and if I'm like pushed over the edge, sometimes I just kind of like have a startle reflex and say something rude. And look, man, it's something I try really hard not to do, but it's hard sometimes. So I'm just saying, with this kind of stuff, like, like a Finnish person wouldn't do that. They'd be like, okay, let you look at it and whatever and form your own opinion. But here they're like so trying to like sell you. I'm like, you saying a bunch of nice things about it isn't going to make me want to buy it if I don't want to buy it. So this is something that I think is like really, really, really hard. And so then the other one was like the owner was home, which like whatever, I mean, sometimes that's okay because you can like ask questions and stuff, because the one woman said like, you can't just have your dog off leash because somebody will freak out and fine you. And he's like, that's never happened to me. But he also lets his dog out in like the backyard. He's not like letting his dog run free. That dog was so cute. It reminded me of Diesel. And I was happy and sad at the same time. Okay. So anyway, there was that. And then, I don't know, but like this one was the one that had like carpeting, and it was like there's like a drawer missing in the kitchen, and like all the closet doors are off their tracks, and that was like way more. Although the cool thing was it was a bigger square footage, and it had 3 bedrooms instead of 2. So like in the long run, that could have been like better. But it was just, and it was a nice corner lot, but again, the view outside the window, so stupid, but like what I care about. Also, this place has fenced in yards, but the HOA doesn't cut the grass, so that's kind of a problem, because I didn't want a bigger yard to have to cut the grass. It's like, oh, well, you can pay somebody to cut your grass. I don't think I'm gonna be wanting to pay somebody to cut my grass if I'm already house poor, and having to pay for this crap. So whatever. But I'd say that was kind of like the annoying thing, and now it's sort of this like, this issue with like the loan officer I've been working with apparently is not like licensed or something to be able to offer to issue loans that are like, I guess the mortgage company she works with, like to be able to issue loans in this particular development. So I might need to go with somebody else. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to work with the realtor to figure out right now. But like, I just don't have enough of an understanding of like how much all this is going to cost, what the HOA breakdown looks like. And then there's all this other stuff like how old is the hot water heater and blah, blah, blah. This is a bunch of stuff you don't really have to worry about in Finland because it's more or less like centralized. But yeah, it's just a bunch of nonsense. And it's like you have to go through attorney review and all this stuff, and like work with a lawyer. And it's like, you don't do that in Finland. Like, you don't. And then my brother's like, well, yeah, that's just because like the US is too afraid. Everybody's like afraid of somebody screwing them over. And I'm like, it's like not a way to live, man. I know a lot of people live like that, and I don't want to live like that, but like sometimes even I feel like I'm falling into that, and it's just I don't dig it. So I don't know. It's just like, it's hard because I feel like there's already like I do want to find something, right? But it's like, it's a lot of money, and you have to like it because it's like a 30-year commitment. Okay. And I just feel like it's hard, and it's like, I really want to find something, and I really want to like something. Like this one that I found is like the closest thing to perfect I found, aside from like the lack of closet space. Although my mom was explaining like you could get a carpenter and like make your own closet kind of thing, and that wouldn't be very expensive. And I was like, okay, fine. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking right now. But it's just, I think that's the thing that's like feels more frustrating about it, is like they're really trying to like sell you on stuff that's very expensive that like maybe isn't even like done correctly. And then, my mom's always like, why would you like, if you're gonna do it, just like do it right. And that's kind of the thing, is like these people will come in sometimes and try to flip it, and it's like a bad flip job, and I'm like, well, like who wants to buy this if it's a bad flip job kind of thing. So I don't know, it's really it's rough. It's rough out here trying to figure out where to live. I mean, I could rent. I don't like the idea of like moving, and I just want somewhere where I can stay forever. or at least keep it forever. I'm a very keep and hold kind of person with all of my assets, including my stocks and my properties. So I have to like it because it's mine and I want to buy it. So I guess that's kind of it. But I'm just saying it's really hard. It's like, it's been a really different experience. It's been a lot more emotionally exhaustive, aside from the fact that we're talking about like a price difference of like 4 times the amount of money in the US versus Finland for like kind of a similar situation, I'd say. But and it's a lot of commitment, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of, like whatever. It's like finding a place to live is stressful in general, and that's why I'd rather just find a place and just like not change it. Like, I had my saga of moving around and moving around and moving around and renting rooms and renting rooms. I'm done with it. I'm really done. I'm getting too old for this nonsense. So, yeah, I guess that's it. I just wanted to, like, explain that because it's, like, super different. And it's, like, it sucks because it's, like, I mean, I've looked at, like, how many places did I say? I guess, like, 5 or 6. I wasn't even expecting to look at as many as I did yesterday. But, and out of that, like, I've only seen one I like, and then I'm worried about the closet space. And then there's some weird stuff with, like, the way the mortgage approval gets done. And I don't know about the HOAs. And then it could be that they've been mismanaging their HOA funds, which is, like, kind of scary. But apparently that's pretty common these days. It be like that. So that's everything I have. Just, like, a soapbox about finding a place to live. And if this doesn't work out with this place, then I'm in the 1 bedroom for however long. But I could see myself being happy in either of these options right now. I just will not be happy when I have to move from the 1 bedroom somewhere else. Not a good gig. Alright, well, that's everything that I have for today. And now I'm going to go back to all of the 5 million things I need to try and get done. And that's it. Alright, until next time. Bye.